Welcome back, student. In this video, we are going to discuss solving the linear programming problem using simplex method. Using simplex method. Using simplex method. Now, in the previous video, we discussed when we are having a linear programming problem, how we are going to convert them into a standard form, and then we discussed how to form the table, the required conversion for the simplex solution, how to make the conversion for the simplex solution. See, for example, we are having a question. Maximum result is equal to 2x1 plus 5x2 subject to the constraints x1 plus 2x2 less than or equal to 5, 2x1 plus 3x2 less than or equal to 8, x1, x2 greater than or equal 0. So here is the simplex problem. First, what we are going to do now, we are going to convert this problem into the standard form. We are going to convert this into a standard form. What is the meaning of standard form? We said we are going to take the objective function and we are going to take all the variables to one side. So what we are having here, I am having maximum result. I am going to take all the variables to one side. So this will become minus 2x1 minus 5x2 equal 0. I am going to take all the variables to one side. Now, when we are checking for the conditions or the constraints, we are going to check with respect to the equalities. We are going to convert them into equalities and we are going to check what is the type of the equation. The equation is in which type. When I check the type here, this is less than or equal to type. Both the equations are less than or equal to type. So what we said, for less than or equal to type, we are going to add a slack variable on the left hand side. So we make it into equality, we are going to add a slack variable to the left hand side. So I am going to check the first equation x1 plus 2x2. This is less than or equal, so I am going to add a slack variable as this is the first equation. I am going to take s1 is equal to 5. S1 is equal to 5. So I am going to add a slack variable to the left hand side. I am going to check the next equation. The next equation is 2x1 plus 3x2. Again, this is less than or equal to. So I am going to add the second slack variable to the left hand side. This is equation 2. So I am going to take it s2 equal 8. Now we are going to take all the variables. I have x1, x2, s1, s2. Whatever the variables we are considering for the study, we are going to assume all the values are greater than or equal 0. All the values are greater than or equal 0. Now, using the standard form, we are going to draw an initial basic feasible solution table. We are going to draw an initial basic feasible solution in easy IBFS. We call it as IBFS table. This is what we discussed in this one, simplex algorithm. This is what we discussed, how to do this in the simplex algorithm. Now what is the idea here? What we said? I am going to take the objective function and we are going to consider the newly added variables. I am going to take them in the row. I am having the objective function. And I am going to check what are all the newly added variables. When I check here, we have added two newly added variables. One is S1 and the other one is S2. I am going to take them in row wise. I am going to take them as the row values. The next one, I am going to check, or I am going to take all the variables considered x1, x2, s1, S2. Whatever the variables we have in the equation, I am going to take them, I am going to consider them. And moreover, here we are having the right hand side. We are having the right hand side. So I am going to consider all the values into the table. How to consider this? We are going to take the corresponding coefficients. We are going to take the corresponding coefficient. What is the coefficient of maximum is that I am going to say what is the coefficient of x1? This is -2. Coefficient of x2 is -5. There is no s1, there is no s2, the right hand side is 0. In this equation, I am going to check x1 is -2, x2 coefficient is -5, there is no s1, there is no s2, so I am going to take the values as 0 and the right hand side value is 0. Now I am going to check the S1. S1 is added in the first row. I am going to take the corresponding coefficient. What is the coefficient of x1? 1. x2 2. S1 1. S2 0. And the right hand side, I am going to take the corresponding value 1, 2, 1. There is no S2. The value is 0. And the right hand side is 1. In the same idea, I am going to take the next S2. I am going to assume the x2 values. S2, this is 2, this is 3. There is no S1, so I am going to take the value as 0. The value of S2 is 1 and the right hand side is 8. Please remember, always here you will have a unit matrix. Here you will have a unit matrix. If you are considering two variables, you will have 1, 0, 0, 1. If you are considering three variables, you will have a unit matrix for 1, 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 1. So now we have formed the initial basic feasible solution table. Now we are going to apply the simplex algorithm and then we are going to find the solution. We are going to find the solution. What we said in the simplex algorithm, if you remember, we are going to check the maximum negative value from the objective function. We are going to check the maximum negative value from the objective function. What is the maximum negative value? -5 is the maximum negative value. The corresponding variable is called entering variable. The corresponding variable is called x2 is called entering variable. And then the corresponding values are called pivotal column. This is called pivotal column. Now using this, we are going to find the ratio. We are going to find the ratio. The ratio, we said we are going to take the right hand side. Always there will be no ratio for the z value. There is no ratio for the z value. We are going to take the constraint value and we are going to find the ratio. What we are going to do now? We are going to take the right hand side. We are going to take the right hand side and I am going to divide by the corresponding pivotal column element. We are going to divide by the corresponding pivotal column element. So 5 divided by 2, this is 2.5. Next I am going to check the take the next value. This is 8 divided by 3, this is 2.6. 2.6. Now, what we are going to do now, we are going to check the least positive value. So first what we are going to do, we are going to identify the entering variable. For identifying the entering variable, we are going to check for the maximum negative value. Then the corresponding column is considered as the pivotal column. Then we are going to find the ratio. To find the ratio, we are going to take the right hand side and we are going to divide by the corresponding pivotal column element. Corresponding pivotal column element. Once if we find the ratio, then we said we are going to find the least positive ratio. Then we said we are going to check for the least positive ratio. Here I am having 2.5, here I am having 2.6. So the least positive ratio is 2.5. The corresponding row is called leaving variable. The corresponding row is called leaving variable. Understand the idea now? This is the simplex algorithm. Just we are in the middle of the problem. We are now in the middle of the problem. So what we have discussed, first we are going to convert the problem to the standard form. From the standard form, we are going to take the variable values and we are going to form the initial basic feasible solution table. So when we form the initial basic feasible solution table, from this going to the next table, in step 1, I am going to find the least negative value or the maximum negative value from Z. This is step 1. The corresponding variable is called entering variable. Then using the corresponding column element which is called pivotal column, we are going to find the ratio. We are going to take the right hand side. I am going to divide the right hand side by the corresponding pivotal column element. I am going to divide the right hand side by the corresponding pivotal column element. Then from the ratio, we are going to select the least positive ratio. We are going to select the least positive ratio. Now using this ratio, the corresponding row is called leaving row. Leaving variable. The corresponding is called leaving variable. And then using this value, we are going to form the next table. We are moving to the next table. See now we are moving to table 1 from IBFS. Here in table 1, what we are going to do now, we are going to take the value of Z. Yes. What we said, S1 leaves, S1 leaves and X2 enters. X2 enters. S1 is the leaving variable, X2 is the entering variable. So what I am going to do now, in place of S1, I am going to take S2. I am going to take X2. Then there is no change in the S2, so I am going to keep S2 as it is. The column wise there is no change. X1, X2, S1, S2 on a choice. First, I am going to find the entering variable value. To fill the table, I am going to find the entering variable. Here we can use different methods, but as we are going with the online classes, I am using this method so that when you refer, it may be easy for you to understand. What I am going to do now, I am going to take the value. I am going to find the value of X2. To find the value of X2, which is the entering variable, I am going to take the leaving variable and I am going to divide by the corresponding pivotal column element. This is called pivotal column element. I am going to divide by the corresponding pivotal column element. That means this is, I am going to take 1, 2, 1, 0, 5. Isn't it? I am going to take the values of S1. 1, 2, 1, 0, 5. I am going to divide all the number by the pivotal column element. What is the pivotal column element here? 2. So I am going to divide all the values by 2. So 1 divided by 2, this is 0.5. This is 1. This is 0.5. 2.5. So my new value for x2 will be this one. I am going to transfer this as it is to the table. So what is my x2? My x2 is 0.5, 1, 0.5, 0, 2.5. So for my new value entering variable, first we are going to take the leaving variable and we are going to divide by the corresponding pivotal column element. So when I check here, S1 is the leaving variable. I am going to take the values of S1. What are all the values given here? 1, 2, 1, 0, 5. So I am going to take the values as it is. And then I am going to divide by the corresponding pivotal column element. What is the corresponding pivotal column element here? Number 2. So 1 divided by 2, 2 divided by 2, I am going to take this value as it is. Now I am going to find the new rows. I am going to find the new rows. How to find the new rows? When we are coming to find the new rows, I am going to first find the value of Z. To find the value of Z. How to find the value of Z? I am going to take the old Z as it is. I am going to find the old Z as it is. What is the old Z here? -2. -5, 0, 0, 0. I am going to take the old Z as it is. So I am having -2, -5, 0, 0, 0. I am going to take the minus of -5, the corresponding pivotal column element. I am going to check what is the pivotal column element here. I am having -5. I am going to take the opposite sign. That means minus of -5. Minus of -5. That means I am going to multiply this x2 value. I am going to multiply the entering variable by this value. So minus of -5 will become +5. Minus of -5 will become +5. So 5 into 0.5. 2.5, 5 into 0.5, 2.5, 5 into 1, 5, 5 into 0.5, this is 2.5, 5 into 0, 0, 5 into 2.5, this is 1.5. I am going to add these two numbers. I am going to add these two numbers. So -2 plus 2.5, this is 0.5. -5 plus 5, this is 0. 0, 2.5, this is 2.5. This is 0. This is 1.5. So to find the new row, we are going to take the old row as it is. We are going to take the old row as it is. We are going to take the corresponding pivotal column element. What is the corresponding pivotal column element? -5. I am going to take the opposite of this. I am going to take the opposite sign. That means minus of -5. I am going to multiply with the corresponding x2 value. So -5 into 0.5, 2.5. -5 into 1, 5. -5 into 0.5, 2.5. -5 into 0, 0, -5 into 2.5, 2.5. I am going to find the total. I am going to find the total. I am going to take this value as Z. I am going to take this value as Z. What are all the values I have? I am having 0.5. This is 0. This is 2.5. This is 0. This is 12.5. In the same idea, we are going to find the value of S2. In the same idea, we are going to find the value of S2. So let me find here. I am going to take what is S2. To find S2, first I am going to take the old row. What is the old row here? 2, 3, 0, 1, 8. I am going to take the old row as it is. What is the old row here? 2, 3, 0, 1, 8. What we said, we are going to take the opposite sign of the corresponding pivotal column element. I am going to check the corresponding pivotal column element 3. I am going to take the opposite sign 3x2. I am going to multiply with the x2. That means minus 3 into 0.5. This is minus 1.5. Minus 3 into 3. This is minus 3. Minus 3 into 0.5, this is minus 1.5. Minus 3 into 0, this is 0. Minus 3 into 2.5, 3 to the 6 plus 1.5, this is minus 7.55. I am going to add these two numbers, this is 0.5, 1, minus 1.5, 1, this is 0.5. I am going to take this value as it is in place of S2. So in S2 we will have 0.5, 1, minus 1.5, 1, 0.5. So this is the way we are using the simplest algorithm and we are going to form the table. Now again we are going to repeat the whole cycle again and again until all the z values are 0 and positive 1. We are going to proceed the same procedure until all the values of z are either positive or 0. That means I am going to check now what is the value of z. In z what we are having 0.5 plus value. This is 0, 2.5, 0. So all the values of z are positive or greater than 0. Z values are positive and 0. We are going to proceed until we reach this stage. If you have any minus in this z, again you have to proceed the same principle. You have to proceed the same principle. Now we are going to find the solution. The solution is maximum z. I am going to check what is the maximum z, what is the value of x1 and what is the value of x2. So when we are checking for maximum result, I am going to take the right hand side value. What is the right hand side value here? This is 12.5. So the maximum result is equal to 12.5. I am going to check what are all the values of variable. I am having x2 and s2. I am going to check the corresponding value for x2. What is the corresponding value for x2? This is 2.5. When I check here, there is no x1, so I am going to assume the value of x1 is 0. There is no x1, so I am going to assume the value of x1 is 0. So the basic idea, once if we reach all the z values to be positive or 0, we are going to find out the solution. We are going to take the corresponding variable on the right hand side. When I check here, I am having z, the corresponding right hand side value is 12.5. I am going to check here x2. We are having only one solution, x2, because in our objective function we are having x1 and x2. I am going to find the value of x1 and x2. When I check for x1, there is no x1 here, so I am going to assume the value as 0. I am going to take the value as 0. When I check for x2, it is given to be 2.5. So the value of x2 is 2.5. This is how we are going to solve the linear programming problems using simplex method. This is how we are going to solve LPP using simplex method. Thank you.